You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Today's topic is Shalom Bayit. And before we begin, a quick apology for my Hebrew pronunciation, which may sound like it learned Hebrew from a bagel podcast hosted by robots. The words are real, the meanings are accurate, but the accent might wander like a lost tourist in Tel Aviv asking for directions to the nearest falafel stand. Now let's jump in. Shalom Bayit literally means peace in the home, but it's much more than just the absence of arguments. It's an entire philosophy of how to build a harmonious household, whether that means marriage, family life, or even roommates sharing fridge space peacefully. If you think of Shalom Bayit as just not fighting, that's like saying a 5-star restaurant is just a place that doesn't serve bad food. It's technically true, but it misses the point. In Jewish thought, Shalom Bayit is about actively creating warmth, respect, and emotional safety. It's proactive, not passive. Imagine your home like a group chat. You can either ignore messages and let things get awkward, or you can respond thoughtfully, keep the tone positive, and make people feel heard. That's Shalom Bayit in action. It's about how you speak, how you listen, and how you handle small tensions before they turn into big, dramatic season finales that nobody actually enjoys watching. One of the most fascinating things about Shalom Bayit is how central it is in Jewish law and culture. There's a famous idea that even sacred things can be set aside to preserve peace in the home. That's a big deal. We're talking about a tradition that takes rules very seriously. And yet it still says, if keeping the peace requires flexibility, then prioritize the relationship. That's like a software company saying, yes, we love our code, but if the user experience is terrible, the code needs to change. The home is the primary interface of life, and if that interface is glitchy, everything else becomes harder to navigate smoothly and happily. There's also a strong emphasis on speech. Words matter a lot in Judaism, and nowhere is that more obvious than inside the home. The idea is that how you speak to your spouse or family members should be even more careful than how you speak to strangers. Think about that. Most people are on their best behavior with coworkers or clients, but then come home and suddenly switch to unfiltered mode. Shalom Bayit flips that script. It says your home deserves your best communication skills, not your leftover emotional scraps after a long day. Tone, timing, and intention all play huge roles in maintaining that sense of calm and mutual respect. Another key piece is empathy. Shalom Bayit isn't about winning arguments. It's about understanding the other person's perspective. Even when you don't agree, it's less like a courtroom and more like a team huddle. Everyone's trying to move in the same direction, even if they disagree on strategy. This mindset changes everything. Instead of asking, how do I prove I'm right? You start asking, how do we both feel okay moving forward? That shift alone can prevent countless conflicts. It's like upgrading from a flip phone to a smartphone in terms of emotional communication. Same basic function, completely different experience and outcome for everyone involved. There's also a concept of small actions building big peace. You don't need grand gestures every day. Shalom Bayit is often about the little things like saying thank you, noticing effort, or giving someone space when they need it. Think of it like maintaining a car. You don't wait for the engine to explode before adding oil. You do small, consistent maintenance so things run smoothly. In relationships, those small acts of kindness and awareness create a buffer that makes it easier to handle the inevitable bumps. Because, let's be honest, every home has bumps. The goal isn't perfection. It's resilience and the ability to recover quickly and kindly. Interestingly, traditional sources also talk about roles and responsibilities within a household, but the deeper takeaway is not about rigid roles. It's about mutual care and responsibility. Each person contributes to the overall atmosphere. It's like a band. You can have different instruments, but if one person is wildly out of tune, the whole performance suffers. Shalom Bayit is about making sure everyone is tuned to the same basic goal of peace and cooperation. That doesn't mean uniformity. It means alignment. Different personalities, different strengths, but a shared commitment to keeping the environment supportive and respectful for everyone involved daily. There's also a strong awareness that stress from outside the home can spill inside. Work pressure, financial concerns, or even something as simple as traffic can affect how people interact at home. Shalom Bayit recognizes this and encourages mindfulness about emotional spillover. It's like carrying muddy shoes into a clean house. If you don't notice it, you track that mud everywhere. But if you pause, take a breath, and clean things off mentally, you protect the space. That pause can be the difference between snapping at someone and having a normal conversation. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful when practiced consistently over time. Another important idea is compromise. Not every issue has a perfect solution where everyone gets exactly what they want. Shalom Bayit embraces the idea that sometimes you meet in the middle. That's not losing. That's building. It's like negotiating what to watch on a streaming service. Maybe it's not your first choice, but the shared experience matters more than the specific show. Over time, that willingness to compromise builds trust. People feel valued and respected, and that creates a stronger foundation. When both sides know that the goal is fairness rather than victory, conflicts tend to resolve faster and with less emotional fallout afterward. Humor also plays a surprisingly big role. Being able to laugh together, especially during tense moments, can diffuse situations quickly. It's like hitting a reset button. Of course, it has to be kind humor, not sarcastic or cutting. The goal is connection, not scoring points. A well-timed light joke can remind everyone that they're on the same team. It shifts the mood from serious to manageable. In many ways, humor is one of the most underrated tools for maintaining Shalom Bayit. It keeps things from becoming too heavy and helps people regain perspective when emotions start running high unexpectedly. It's also worth noting that Shalom Bayit isn't limited to marriage. It applies to any shared living situation. Families, roommates, even extended households can benefit from these principles. Anywhere people share space, the need for peace and cooperation exists. The same fundamentals apply: respect, communication, empathy, and small acts of kindness. Think of it as a universal operating system for human interaction at home. It doesn't matter who the users are. The system works as long as people commit to using it properly and consistently, even when it feels inconvenient or requires a little extra effort in the moment. One subtle but important aspect is intention. Shalom Bayit isn't just about what you do, but why you do it. If actions are motivated by genuine care, they tend to be more effective. People can sense authenticity. It's like the difference between a generic automated message and a thoughtful personal note. Both communicate something, but one feels real. In the home, that authenticity builds trust. When people believe that you're acting in their best interest, they're more likely to respond positively, even in difficult situations. That underlying trust is what allows Shalom Bayit to function over the long term without constant friction or misunderstanding. At the end of the day, Shalom Bayit is about creating a home that feels like a refuge rather than a battlefield. It's where people can relax, be themselves, and feel supported. It doesn't mean there are never disagreements. It means disagreements are handled in a way that preserves dignity and connection. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and may your home be as peaceful as a perfectly brewed cup of tea with no one arguing over how long it should steep. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or leave a positive review so others can find the podcast more easily.